Hello and welcome to my channel. Today's video is going to be a birthday card. I'm going to show some watercoloring techniques, some die cut stacking, and some paper saving using die cuts. This card looks very intricate, but it's really a lot of fun to make and it's really simple. Let me move this out of the way and show you how to make the card. The inks I'm going to be using today is going to be Mowed Lawn Distress Ink, Teal Zeal by Memento, and Versafine Onyx Black. Also, I will be using some Zeal Clean Color Real Brush markers, and I will list each of these colors in the comment section down below. The stamps I'm going to be using today is a Word Bubbles Framelits die by Stampin Up, a bunch of banners framelits die, also Stampin Up. Die cuts from, let's see, Little Yellow Bicycle. I need the happy from there. I'm using my go-to stitch rectangles and Stampin Up stamp set called Time of the Year, and the Hey Chick. This was a celebration item which I got for free. I think you had to buy $50 worth of Stampin' Up products and you got this free. I thought it was a hoot when I got it. And I'm going to change my design just a little bit. It's out of frame, so sorry, as we go, but you'll be able to tell what I changed. So let me move this out of the way and get right into creating this card. I forgot, I also need 2 circle punches, 2 1/4 inch and 2 1/2 inch. Okay, let me get right in with the stamping. I'm going to take the small strip of white and stamp my banner. I'm using my Misty tool because this is a very solid stamp and I want to be sure that I get a good impression. So in case I miss a spot, I can use the Misty tool and stamp it again. And I am about to miss a spot. I saw that right off the bat. Okay, that should get it. There we go. Now I know I'm going to have to stamp this 2 times. There, nice and solid. Clear this up real quick. Now this is going to take a little bit of time to dry, so I'm going to sit that out of the way. And bring in the watercolor paper, and I'm going to stamp the chicken and the saying using the black. Okay, I'll clean that later. Whoops, that's no good. I got a little bit of rocking, so I'm going to try that again on the other side. There, that's better. Okay. Sorry. Let's see. Next, I want to stamp the inside. Okay, so I've already put the stamps onto my block, and I have this one upside down, so I want to make sure that I didn't do it upside down this time. I'm bringing a piece of scratch paper and stamp that real quick. Nope, it's good. Okay, oops, force of habit. Stamp, close the ink. If you've been watching my channel for a while, you know that I have had a few incidents where I put my arms and fingers and cardstock into the open stamp pad, so I've forced myself to immediately close it once I use it. Okay, This just needs a quick dry. And while I'm working on the inside, I'm going to give it, the chick is this sort of floating, so I'm going to give it a little bit of ground below it by taking a piece of white scrap and a blender tool, and I'm just going to give it some green. Just starting off the paper and come in and give it a little bit of ground below it. It'll look like you didn't get much on there at first, but you really transfer a lot, and you'll see once I pull the paper away. There you go. And now he's no longer floating, he's grounded. Okay, moving right along, things are going fast. This is a really fast card. Okay, now let's do the watercoloring. So I need to bring in my aqua painter, use this one, and a piece of paper. Now I've done a few examples of watercoloring with these Zeal markers. I should have mentioned that this is Bristol's paper. This is the best paper to use for these particular markers because the color just flows right over it. So this is just not much interesting to this chick coloring, so I'm just going to just lay the colors around where I think they would look interesting. A little bit dark area on the breast, and fill in some lighter shades around it. There's nothing to this part at all. And I'll blend that out. Get the water started. There we go. I don't really know how chickens are colored, so I just did what looks nice to me. If some of you have chickens or been around chickens, you can tell me how far off my coloring is. I just know it tastes good with gravy. That's about the extent of my knowledge for chickens. Okay. And for the red, I'm just going to do it straight on there. I'm not going to blend it out, because I want it to be really vibrant. And you'll probably tell me that a grilled chicken doesn't have a red comb, but this one's going to have one. And little orange feet. This is one wacky looking chicken. Okay, set that aside and let it dry completely and move on to the next thing. Now I'm going to start with my die cutting. So I brought in my big shot tool and I'm going to do this banner first. Funny story about this stamp set. When I first got it, I thought I had a Stampin' Up banner die, but I wasn't sure, and I went and found it and I thought, oh great, this will work. But then I went and bought the banner die cut and I put it here and I was like, oh, it's not the same thing. So I cut this thing out by hand, not aware that the problem was I had the die cut upside down. So I must have made a dozen of hand cutting out of this die cut before I realized my mistake. So there you have it. A little bit of green. So this is pretty easy. I'm not going to spend too much time explaining it. It's just die cutting. So now I'm going to cut the mat, and you want to be sure that you have put the frame well into the edges so that it doesn't show when you assemble the card. This is how you can save paper by making the mats work for you. So now I have this frame. Don't throw that away, of course. And this. And I'm going to give this some double duty because I need to get the circle mat also. So I'm bringing the larger of the punches and come in the center here. Make sure that you don't go toward the edge. You didn't see that. Okay, and I'll just punch it right out the center just like that. Okay, save that, of course. And now this one, I will take the smaller frame and cut this out. Okay, and this is not needed, so that goes in the trash. Now for this black, I'm going to get out this happy, but I'm going to get as many happies as I can. I'm trying to get at least 3 so that I can stack it. And I also want to make a drop shadow for that, so I'm going to make that a little different. That's the first change I'm going to make in the card. So I'm going to get this over here. And the first of the happies. Okay, there's that. Thanks for coming. And there's the first happy, and I need to get my pokey tool to free the die. You just poke right through the holes that are in the die, and it comes right out. And if you're having trouble with intricate die sticking, you can use a trick to add a little bit of wax paper right on top here and run it through, and the die will just drop right out. And I may need to do that because this die is sticking a little bit. All right, so when you use the wax paper, you get a cutout of the wax, and it lets the die release really easily, and it doesn't hurt it or affect it at all. So I ended up getting 4 from that. So at this point, oh, I need to die cut this. Forgot that part. Okay, now here we have this. And I'm going to cut Mrs. Chicken out with the smaller of the 2 punches. Just make sure you get her pretty much centered in there. There we go. Now, the rest is just going to be simply assembling all the different parts. So I'm going to let the music run and put everything together. And I'll talk to you again at the end. All right, that is the finished card. I think it came together really nice. I'm glad that I increased the height of this with the stacked die cut, and I like the drop shadow better than not having it. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. This birthday card is going to be for my cousin, and I really hope she likes it. And I hope that you will try to create a similar card yourself with whatever stamps, papers, and materials that you had. I'd like to thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing to my channel. And I'd like to thank my brother David for the music that he's providing. Take care, everyone, and have a great day.